Hello students, Mr. Young here. Welcome to today's lesson. It's Chapter 9, Lesson 3. We're talking about ancient Indian empires. So we start in the year 500 BC. India is currently in a state of essentially being many small kingdoms. At this point, a Macedonian conqueror, Alexander the Great, you may have heard of him, rolls up to India with his army, all the way from basically like Greece. Alexander is arguably one of the greatest leaders in history, and his conquest was stopped at India, not because India united to defeat him or India's powerful war elephants, but Alexander's own men basically refused to go any further. They had been away from home for too long, and they were too far away, and they just wanted to go back. And that really is what stopped the conquest of Alexander the Great, and stopped it at India. What does this have to do with ancient Indian empires? Well, my students, this event served as an impetus or a force to lead one man to create the first Indian empire. His name was Chandragupta Maurya. Let's learn about him on the next page. So Chandragupta was an Indian military commander, and after that close call with the Macedonians, he saw that India needed a strong empire to defend against invasion. He essentially built an army and then set about conquering the Indian subcontinent. Well, not the whole thing, you can see here on the map. He didn't quite get down there to the southern tip of India, but he was so close. Chandragupta was a pretty decent leader. Once his Mauryan Empire was established, he set up a good post system and ran an efficient government. He set up his capital in the city of, I'm going to pronounce it correctly, Pataliputra. That was his capital, Pataliputra. He was, however, a little bit of a paranoid Looney Tune. He wouldn't sleep in the same bed for 2 nights in a row, and had food testers try all of his food first because he thought that everyone was trying to assassinate him. See, he doesn't look crazy, but he was a little bit kooky. So Chandragupta's grandson is a memorable fellow in history. His name was Asoka. He began his reign with a number of conquests, but it is said that after one battle, as he surveyed the scene of carnage, he had a change of heart and essentially became a Buddhist. And we remember learning that Buddhists are pacifists. So this new Asoka focused on improving the lives of his people. Roads were improved, and he was sure to tolerate all religions, including the Hindus. He's a Buddhist, so he's like, alright, Buddhists are cool, Hindus are cool, you do whatever you want, man. Peace and love. He had rest stops built along the roads, the improved road system, so people could stop and have somewhere nice to rest, sort of like truck stops on the interstate. And he also had Buddhists, basically Buddhist missionaries spread throughout the country, through the empire. Let's see. Oh, he had these stupas built, which were basically Buddhist shrines throughout the empire. And under the leadership of Asoka, trade increased, and the Mauryan Empire thrived. It was a very good time for India. Unfortunately, after the death of Asoka, his heirs were not so great. They took land from peasants, not pheasants, peasants, and enforced heavy taxes. There was rebellion in the empire, and the last Mauryan ruler was actually murdered by one of his own generals. India was once again split into many small kingdoms. There's Asoka with his sweet, sweet mustache. Now, for 500 years, the small kingdoms of India fought each other for control. Then one took control and started the Gupta Empire. I kid you not, the guy who did this, his name was Chandragupta. Just like the old Chandragupta. So that would be like another George Washington becoming president in 2020. Mr. Young awards 0 points for originality. Anyways, doppelganger Chandragupta ruled for 10 years and then chose his son Samudragupta to succeed him. So this new empire is the Gupta Empire. Samudragupta was actually a capable leader, both on and off the battlefield. He expanded the empire, the Gupta Empire, and worked to build Hindu shrines. So he's spreading Hinduism. Trade brought wealth into the Gupta Empire, Pilgrims would use the trade routes to visit these new Hindu shrines, and many a Hindu shrine filled their coffers with monies from these pilgrims. And I found this comic book here of Samudragupta. I guess it's a comic book in India, so hey, that's pretty cool. There were some golden times when the Indian empires were stable. We're moving on to Indian culture. Culture, as it were, flourished. The first written religious works, of India was the Vedas. There were many other written epics telling the stories of Hindu gods. Many were actually in poem form. Now, architecture and the arts flourished as well. Much of the earliest Indian art did not survive. It was on some non-sturdy mediums, you might say. But many of the religious art pieces were carved in stone and survive to this day. Music was an important part to the ancient Indians, as was singing. They thought it was like a gift from the gods. Indian mathematicians of the Gupta Empire actually made symbols for the numbers 1 through 9 and even used algebra. They invented zero and attached its meaning to nothing. They also came up with the concept of infinity, so never ending. Now, Indian astronomers theorized that the Earth was round and orbited the Sun. They mapped the locations of the stars, so hey, that's pretty good. And doctors at the time in India were considered to be pretty advanced. They had dentists and even did nose surgery. They conducted surgery to set broken bones and sew up wounds. Advanced for the time or not, I'm not sure. I would want an ancient Indian dentist working on my teeth. Anyways, your quiz, a simple quiz, is on the next page. This is pretty much ending up the chapter. The next day will be review day, followed by the test. Alright, if you need any help, go ahead and contact me. Otherwise, have a wonderful day.